We all get the exact same 24 hours in a day. That's a given, right? But it's also a fact that some people seem to achieve exponentially more in that time. So how do they do it? It's not magic, and it's definitely not some secret trick to slow down time. It's really about taking back control.
And this quote right here, it pretty much frames the entire conversation we're about to have. The source material argues this is the fundamental choice we all face. See, managing your time isn't just about little productivity hacks. It's about personal freedom. It's the difference between building your own dream and being paid to build someone else's.
So, before we can even get to the solutions, we have to dismantle a really popular and honestly, a deeply flawed idea about how to fix this whole problem. Let's peel back the curtain and talk about the big lie that's sitting right at the heart of the time management industry.
Have you ever been there? You go to the seminar, you buy the book, you feel this incredible, unstoppable rush of motivation, only for it to just vanish a few days later. If you find yourself right back where you started, trust me, you are not alone. And there's a very specific reason for it.
So take a look at this. This timeline kind of shows you how the whole self-help game has changed over the years. According to the source, what started with folks like Dale Carnegie just sharing their personal real-life experiences, well, it's morphed. As you move along to people like Napoleon Hill and then Stephen Covey, the focus shifted away from lived wisdom and more toward a commercial enterprise designed for profit.
And to really nail this critique, the source material uses this incredible term, sabuba. It's an Egyptian Arabic slang word for a lucrative scheme, basically a business model that's built on exploiting a need. And the argument is that a huge chunk of the modern self-help industry has become just that, a sabuba.
Yep, and this right here just illustrates the problem perfectly. These programs, they sell you that powerful temporary high, that feeling at the peak of the curve, but they don't give you a sustainable solution. So what happens? The motivation inevitably fades, the energy disappears, and you slide right back down to the bottom looking for your next fix.
Okay, so if that's the big lie, what's the truth? What's the real solution? Well, it all starts with two foundational commitments you have to make before you even think about planning out your day. This is the groundwork.
The whole process begins with two absolutely non-negotiable steps. First, you've got to do a brutally honest audit of where your time is actually going. And second, you need a crystal clear definition of what you're even working towards. If you get these two things right, you've built a foundation for everything else.
And this is where the tough love comes in. The author of the source material gives his own example, Facebook. He realized it was a massive black hole for his time, so back in 2010, he deleted his account and never looked back. The message here is so clear. Identify your single biggest time waster and just eliminate it. No excuses. The moment you start justifying it, you've already lost.
All right, so with that foundation in place, let's talk about how you build a daily mindset. A battle plan, really. With the groundwork laid, you now need a plan of attack for each and every day. This is all about preparing for the battle before it even starts.
I love this analogy. It's just perfect. Waking up and then deciding what you're going to do is like shooting a bullet into a wall and then drawing a target around the hole. It's just completely backward, right? The source is absolutely adamant about this. Your plan for the day has to be set the night before. You have to know the exact target you're aiming for before your head even hits the pillow.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea, something called the challenge mindset. The source tells a story. Imagine someone rushes out of a building and accidentally pushes you to the ground. The victim mentality immediately blames the other person. But the success mentality, it thinks, you know what, that's my fault. I should have been more aware of my surroundings. This is about taking radical ownership of every single outcome in your life. And that is the kind of intensity this mindset brings to your goals. You're the one who set the task. You define the goal. Think about it. If you wouldn't just blow off your boss at work, why on earth would you blow off a commitment you made to yourself? You have to respect your own goals with this level of ferocity. It's a battle between you and the task, and you have to win.
Okay, so you've got the groundwork. You've got the daily battle plan. Now what? Now we get into the nitty-gritty. Executing with discipline, moment by moment, with an unwavering focus. This classic quote from Mark Twain just sums up the next principle perfectly. Look, your energy and your focus are at their absolute peak in the morning, so don't waste that precious resource on small, easy stuff. Instead, you've got to identify the biggest, ugliest, most difficult task on your list, your frog, and you tackle it immediately. Eat that frog. Next up, we have to talk about isolating yourself. And the source asks this, well, it's a deliberately provocative question.
A dog hears a whistle and runs. A person hears a notification and runs. I mean, really think about it. What's the difference?
And the scary answer is, in that moment, there's absolutely no difference. When you're deep in focus and that notification alert dings, your instinct is to grab the phone. Your reaction is just as conditioned as that dog's. You're letting a totally external trigger dictate your actions. The solution is simple, but it's not easy. When you work, turn the phone off. Put it in another room. The world can wait.
You know, this next point is really all about respecting the simple, hardwired rules of your own brain. The idea that you can multitask effectively is, according to the source, a complete and total myth. Your brain is a single tasking machine. Trying to force it to multitask just means you do multiple things poorly and, surprisingly, a whole lot slower.
And speaking of your brain, you have to remember you are not a machine. And that brings us to the power of breaks. Don't plan your day with back-to-back tasks. Instead, schedule large, empty gaps of time. This does 3 amazing things. First, it turns your work into a kind of game against the clock. Second, it gives you this built-in buffer for when things, inevitably go wrong. And third, it gives you a totally guilt-free window to check in with the world.
Okay, we're in the home stretch now. All these tactics work great day to day, but how do you make this stuff stick for good? Our final section is all about building the unbreakable habits that make this change actually last.
And one of the most critical habits you have to build is the power of a single word: no. No to distractions, no to requests that derail your focus, and no to people who just don't respect your goals. The source puts it bluntly. Someone who gets upset with you today will probably get over it by tomorrow, but the time you lose today, that is gone forever.
And finally, the last habit is so simple. Read. Seriously, read anything. It doesn't matter what you start with. The act of reading itself expands your mind. It widens your perspective. It literally makes you a better thinker. And a better thinker is inherently better at managing every single aspect of their life, especially their time. Because when you boil it all down, this is the core philosophy. This entire process isn't really about productivity hacks or finding secret hours in the day. It's a reflection of self-respect. It's about honoring the commitments you make to yourself with the exact same seriousness you'd give to anyone else. And so that leaves us with this one final question, a question you should ask yourself every single night. At the end of the day, was your time an investment, or was it a loss? Every hour was either spent moving you closer to your goal or was just gone. There really is no middle ground. And the choice, as always, is yours.
Please like and subscribe for more daily trading content, and then subscribe for more daily, weekly trading insights.